the Equestrian Festival in Wales. In the stands, standing next to her mother, is 18-year-old Princess Jalila, the daughter of the ruler of Dubai. The world sees her face again. For almost 6 years, she had not appeared in public after her mother, Princess Haya, fled Dubai with her children. During that time, the whole world discussed Haya's escape, the dramatic court case in London, espionage scandals, and the fate of other daughters of the Sheikh. But in all this story, almost no one spoke about Jalila herself. What happened to her during all those years? How did she live after the escape? And who did the girl become whose world collapsed when she was 11? The daughter of the ruler of Dubai and a Jordanian princess, she was a symbol of the union of two of the most powerful dynasties in the Gulf. When Jalila was born, her life looked like a fairy tale, even by royal standards. On her first birthday, her father opened an ultra-modern children's hospital in Dubai, worth $183 million, and named it after his daughter. In the family of Sheikh Mohammed, this was a sign of special status. Jalila grew up between the palaces of Dubai, London, and Jordan, flying on a personal Boeing jet. Later, in court documents, a detail appeared that shows the scale of this luxurious life. During one summer, a family of 4 spent $2 million on strawberries. At the age of 9, Jalila was already presenting trophies at the Royal Ascot horse races. She stood on the podium next to her mother, Princess Haya, surrounded by Arab sheikhs and British aristocrats. In photos from those years, we see a happy girl who does not even suspect that very soon her world will disappear. Sheikh Mohammed has around 30 children from different wives, and in this huge family there was one disturbing pattern. The children always belonged to the father. When a relationship with another wife ended, she was forced to leave the palace, while the children stayed behind and were raised by other wives. The older daughters, Shamsa and Latifa, grew up exactly this way, almost never seeing their mother. Both tried to escape from this golden cage, and both were brought back by force. For many years, the family of Sheikh Mohammed and Princess Haya looked perfect. Haya believed that their situation was different from that of the other wives of the Sheikh, and that her status was strong protection. But when she learned the truth about the fate of Shamsa and Latifa, and her own marriage began to fall apart, the illusions disappeared. Haya realized that she could lose her children forever. But why the princess actually decided to escape with the children, the world would learn only later, during the court case in London. The court materials revealed the dark side of this fairy tale. During the last year, 11-year-old Jalila lived in constant fear that her mother could disappear at any moment. Haya found loaded pistols on her pillow and notes with threats. As it later became clear, the Sheikh had secretly divorced her on the 20th anniversary of her father's death. All of this was confirmed by the court. The threats continued even after the princess fled with her children to England. One day, a helicopter landed right in the yard of their London house. The pilot said he had come to take someone to Awir, a prison in the desert of the Emirates, surrounded by frightening rumors. According to Haya's testimony, she was not taken away only because little Zayed grabbed her leg and would not let go. Jalila simply froze in place, unable to move from fear. Haya's phone and the phones of people around her were hacked using a military spyware program. Every step of the family was being watched. People connected to the Sheikh even tried to buy a huge estate with a direct view of their house. But the most shocking moment in court revealed what Jalila herself was actually being saved from. Haya stated that she feared a forced marriage for her daughter, and the person mentioned was the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. The London court directly stated that the main threat to the girl came from her own father. Haya received sole custody and a court order protecting Jalila from forced marriage until she reaches adulthood. But for the girl herself, this victory meant the end of her former world. The palace, the horses, the familiar life, everything disappeared in a single day. Yesterday, hospitals were named in her honor, and today there is an armored car and armed guards standing at the entrance to her home. The court ordered the sheikh to pay $730 million to Haya, the largest divorce settlement in the history of British courts. The money will provide lifelong security and a comfortable life for the princess and her children. And while journalists counted the millions and discussed the scandalous details of the divorce, somewhere in London a teenager was growing up in isolation. Jalila had practically disappeared. It was the only way to protect her. When a British court officially calls your own father a threat, you cannot simply go to school or walk in the park like other teenagers. This was the world in which she grew up, not the golden cage of Dubai, another cage made of armored glass and strict security protocols. 5 years of silence. 5 years without a single photo or public appearance. And then, finally, Haya appeared with her children. They came to a celebration honouring the legendary yacht Maiden, which had returned victorious from a round-the-world sailing race. For them, this was not just a sailing boat, but a family relic. Many years ago, the project had been sponsored by Jalila's grandfather, King Hussein. Later, Princess Haya continued her father's work and also helped restore the legendary vessel. The royal children had clearly grown up. Many people noticed that Jalila had become just as beautiful and graceful as her mother. But more important than her appearance were her words. Jalila and Zayed handed the crew a handwritten message. The shining spirit of the maiden crew passed through struggle and hardship and proved that with faith, honor, and courage, everything is possible. These were the first public words from a princess who had been silent for 5 years. With faith and courage, everything is possible, wrote the girl who had grown up behind armored glass. And this appearance became a signal. She was no longer hiding. A year later came her second appearance, an equestrian festival in Wales. Jalila stood in the stands beside her mother and presented the King Hussein Cup, a prize established by the grandfather she had never known. And once again, horses. It was as if this family was finding its way back to itself through equestrian sport, the one thing that connects 3 generations. Her grandfather believed in women riders when many people thought it was madness. Her mother became an Olympic athlete, and now the daughter stood at a Welsh racecourse presenting a cup named after her grandfather. The circle had closed, even if not in the country where the story began. Now, Jalila is 18. Adulthood. It is an important moment. The protective court orders are still in place, but for the first time in her life, she can make her own decisions. Will she see the father, whom a court officially called a threat to her? Will she return to Dubai, where 30 of her brothers and sisters live? Or will she remain in London, the city that became both her refuge and her long isolation? Now compare this. Shamsa and Latifa tried to escape, but they were brought back. Jalila was saved. The difference between them is enormous. The sisters ended up in silence inside the palaces of Dubai, while Jalila spent years in the shadow of a London mansion. But Jalila had something they did not, her mother beside her, a mother who went through all of this for her. Haya did what other wives of the emir could not do. She gave her daughter a chance at a normal life, without golden cages. Perhaps those years of silence and the break with her old home were the price that had to be paid for the right to be herself. Judging by her calm look in the stands and by that letter at the harbour, Jalila understands this difference. She understands what Haya paid for her freedom. In Dubai, there is still a shining hospital with her name on the front. Her charitable foundation helps thousands of children, and the whole city remembers her as the little princess who was always beside her father. But Jalila now stands at a Welsh racecourse, and it seems she has no intention of returning to the past. She is 18, and who she will become next will no longer be decided by her father or by any court. For the first time in her life, that decision belongs only to her. What do you think? Will Jalila ever return to Dubai? And did Haya make the right choice? Write your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. See you soon.